I almost thought I was hallucinating. There I was, waiting in line for a quick lunch at a local McDonald's, when a flurry of tartar sauce packets came flying through the air, barely missing a young employee's head. The stunned look on the girl's face said it all. She hadn't signed up for this. Behind the counter, the chaos had a single source, a woman I recognized immediately. Her name was Lorraine Becker, president of the Riverbend Homeowners Association. Blonde, mid-50s, always dressed in designer labels with sunglasses too expensive for fast food lighting. And right now, she was unleashing an epic tantrum that would have embarrassed a toddler. This is corporate greed at its finest, Lorraine bellowed, sweeping an entire tray of ketchup packets off the counter with a theatrical swipe of her manicured hand. I'm a paying customer. You can't charge me extra for sauce. The rest of us stood there awkwardly, some pulling out phones to record what was quickly becoming the kind of viral video you regret not catching on film. Lorraine had managed to pull herself halfway over the counter, her oversized handbag swinging dangerously behind her as she wagged a finger in the young cashier's face. "Get me your manager," she screeched, voice rising like a siren. "Right now. I'm not leaving until this is handled to my satisfaction." The cashier, probably still in high school, looked like she wanted to disappear. I'd witnessed public outbursts before, but this one was something else. It was like Lorraine's entire personality had been compressed into a firecracker, and someone finally lit the fuse. What should have been an uneventful lunch break had spiraled into an unscripted theater performance, starring a woman who took herself way too seriously. Lorraine wasn't just a stickler for the HOA rules, she was a legend. I got a warning from her once because the white trim I used to repaint my fence was apparently 3 shades too creamy for community standards. I wasn't surprised to see her flipping out here. I was just surprised it took this long. She'd been ahead of me in line. Everything was normal until she ordered her filet-o-fish and requested extra tartar sauce. The cashier explained politely that extra packets would cost 25 cents each. That's when the transformation occurred. One moment she was idly scrolling through her phone. The next she was foaming with outrage. "Do you have any idea who I am?" she demanded. "I'm the president of the Riverbend HOA. I represent a thriving community of respectable homeowners. You don't charge people like me for sauce." The cashier tried to remain calm, repeating that it was just policy. But Lorraine wasn't listening. She was spiraling. "This is discrimination," she said loudly enough to turn heads throughout the restaurant. "I've been loyal to this McDonald's for over 15 years. People behind her began groaning and shifting impatiently. A few left the line entirely, heading toward the mobile pickup area. The manager finally appeared, a tall man in his 40s with tired eyes and the patient demeanor of someone who'd been through this kind of circus before. He explained, again, that the charge applied to everyone. "Company policy," he said. "It's nothing personal." But to Lorraine, it was very personal. "I pay taxes," she shouted. "I maintain property values. I'm the reason neighborhoods like this stay beautiful. And you have the audacity to charge me extra for a single condiment packet." She went off again. Her voice grew louder, her accusations wilder. People were backing away now, some openly filming, others silently cheering for the manager who refused to be intimidated. Then the real explosion came. She yanked open the condiment dispenser, grabbed handfuls of ketchup, mustard, mayo, and tartar sauce packets, and flung them like confetti across the counter. "This is theft," she shrieked. "You're robbing me. I'm entitled to this." Her diamond-studded fist slammed into the counter hard enough to leave a dent. The manager didn't flinch. He just asked her calmly and firmly to leave. That's when Lorraine vaulted past the counter entirely, her heels tapping furiously as she cornered him next to the drink machines. "You work for me," she yelled inches from his face. "I'm a community leader. I'll have your job by tomorrow. I'll have this entire location shut down. You'll be flipping burgers in another county if you're lucky." Meanwhile, an employee slipped into the back to call the police, while another quietly redirected the remaining customers away from the scene. Lorraine didn't notice her, didn't care that nearly a dozen phones were pointed in her direction. "I want your name," she barked. "Your supervisor's name. Your district manager's number." I want all of it. I will sue every one of you. The shrill wail of police sirens cut through the moment like a blade. A hush fell over the dining room as two uniformed officers entered, scanning the scene. Lorraine kept ranting, still unaware of their arrival, until one of them gently touched her shoulder. "Ma'am, we need you to step outside with us," the female officer said. Lorraine spun around, smugness returning to her face like makeup. "Finally," she said, "I'd like to report this establishment for emotional abuse, unfair treatment, and price gouging." "Actually, ma'am," the officer replied, "we've had multiple complaints about a disturbance. The restaurant has asked that you leave." Lorraine blinked. "You're asking me to leave? Do you know who I am? I run Riverbend. I keep this community from turning into a slum. I have contacts in City Hall." The officers were unmoved. "You need to come with us peacefully, or we will be forced to escort you out." That's when it dawned on her. The police weren't on her side, and she didn't like that one bit. "This is outrageous," she screamed, snatching her phone from her bag. "I'm calling my lawyer. I'm calling the mayor. You're all going to regret this." She thrashed as they guided her toward the door. "Don't touch me. This is assault. I'm a respected leader. I'm being arrested over tartar sauce." They informed her she was being charged with disorderly conduct, trespassing, and resisting arrest. When the handcuffs came out, she went limp for a moment, as if in disbelief. But once they clicked shut around her wrists, the yelling started up again. "I'll ruin all of you," she hollered. "You don't know who you're messing with." They walked her out into the parking lot while she continued yelling names and threats and claims of connections. Her tirade faded only once the police cruiser doors slammed shut. I hadn't even made it back to my office when the videos started circulating. Our neighborhood Facebook group exploded. Within an hour, one of the videos had thousands of views. Local news picked it up by evening. The headline read, "HOA president arrested in fast food meltdown over sauce charge." And the consequences came fast. By the next morning, a petition had started circulating through Riverbend. Over 200 homeowners signed within a day. People who never showed up to HOA meetings, who'd never cared about community votes, suddenly had plenty to say. The petition demanded Lorraine's removal from the board, citing conduct unbecoming of a community leader and the misuse of authority. 3 days later, Lorraine appeared in court. She stood in front of a judge, trying to cry her way through an explanation about having a stressful week. The judge wasn't moved. He handed down a $1,200 fine, ordered 40 hours of community service and mandatory anger management classes. Lorraine's face crumpled. Her empire of influence shattered just like that. Over a packet of tartar sauce. 25 cents. That's all it took. The once feared ruler of Riverbend became the subject of memes, local gossip, and late-night texts. Some people mocked her. Others pitied her. But nobody forgot what happened. And every time I pass that McDonald's now, I still wonder, was it the sauce? Or had she always been ready to snap? Either way, that was the day Riverbend got a little quieter and the condiment counter a little safer.